Hey, Queen Sandra, are you there?
I am. How are you?
I'm great, but I'm a little sad because you were my favorite castaway, and I was rooting for you. And for the
Oh.
first time, you know the pain, you know what it feels like to be voted out.
Yeah, I do, but even then it's really not that bad. I guess because I was prepared and I knew eventually it would happen.
Right.
I'm not taking
And
it as hard as other people who have just played once and got voted off, or even played 2, 3, 4 times and still nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm okay.
you went out with a huge smile on your face. Like, and why was it important for you to go out like that?
Well, you know what? I always knew that Jeff had been dying for years to snuff my torch, and I was like, I always said like I was gonna tell him like, Jeff, you ain't snuffing crap. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't gonna let you snuff my torch. And I'm glad that, I was smiling. I was like, Lord, I never got my torch snuffed. But at the end of the day, I had gone to so many tribal councils. I knew that one day they'd just get me. Like, it just wasn't in the cards for me. But Jeff was having a fun time with it too. I mean, it was on a serious note. But at the end of the day, like, I didn't take it, like, I didn't shed a tear then and I haven't shed a tear now.
I almost thought there was a chance that Jeff would be like, Sandra, do you want to snuff your own torch, for the first time ever? And that would have been just such a cool moment. And already it was a cool moment because everyone was clapping for you.
Yeah, they were really, really nice. I've never been so attached to a cast like I have with this cast of Game Changers. They're really, really awesome people. I really enjoy each and every one of them.
And you mentioned you went to so many tribal councils. I think you went to 5 of the 6. And
Right. I just didn't have anything to do with Caleb's, but yeah.
Right. And I realize Survivor is not a fair game, put fair in quotes, but you went to 5. Somebody like Sari has been to 0. In other words, you've had to play 5 times harder than Sari. And I think maybe that was your ultimate downfall, that you just had to play so hard so fast.
Yeah, and not only that, the only thing that screwed me was picking the wrong buff off that play. Had I gone to Exile Island, or had I gone to the Mana tribe with Haley and Troyzan and Michaela and Aubrey, we wouldn't be talking right now.
Right. It's all luck.
So yeah, it really was. So yeah, they got rid of me. It was their only, at that point it was their best move. But what really did me in was the swap, and that's something that I didn't have control of. Just like Caleb ended up at the bottom, and Troyzan ended up at one time at the bottom as well, and even JT was at the bottom. Like it was just my time now to end up at the bottom.
Right. Well, okay, let's talk about your new tribe. There was that moment where Zeke told Varner, you're not going home. It's going to be Ty that's going home. And then Varner told you that. Did it ever occur to you to actually go to Ty and say, hey, Ty, these guys are turning on you. Why don't you join us? And then we'll have Debbie come in and we'll have a strong 4.
No, I didn't want to have pretty much anything to do with Ty because he was part of the Karong 4 that started the game together. And that's how I treated Aubrey as well. I really didn't want to have too many conversations with her. It was always my mission to try to get one of them out. And so when they're saying Ty, it's perfect because one of them will be gone. One of them will be eliminated because there's still 4 of them in the game. Well, 3 of them in the game because Caleb was already gone. So, no, I never approached Ty, and I don't regret not approaching Ty. I don't think anything, I approached Ozzy. Ozzy told me I was good. We had, from what I understood, formed an alliance where he would protect me temporarily, and then I would protect him once the merge occurred. But, it didn't pan out for me, and I'm sure down the road there'll be some regrets over that.
Mm-hmm. Ty did open his mouth a bit too much, I think, at Tribal Council. Was there a moment where you thought, maybe he is going home. Maybe I can actually survive this day?
Well, I knew two things were going to either happen. Ty was going to go home or I was going to go home. But the fact that he blatantly said Ozzy's name was perfect because it was proof to Ozzy that, yes, these people love you, but the first chance they get to take you out, they're going to do it. So it was more like an eye-opener, like, dude, I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen. Like, this is your fourth time playing. Your wins are not guaranteed, and you're not even guaranteed a fifth time. So if you don't do the right thing this time around, you're done. So, you know, it was for him to take the information and do something about it. So, again, I'm happy about my game. So it's a lot of them that have to say, damn, we could have took that opportunity, but I'm not the one that's going to be living with the regret.
Mm-hmm. Sarah said something interesting last night, that she felt you were trying to groom them for their votes. And was that a part of your game strategy, or is that just something that's natural to you as a person?
It's just so natural to me. I just try to get to know each and every one of them. You know, here I am on this new tribe. I don't know any of them, so I'm talking to each one of them individually, to where on my other tribe I had already been with these people for 16 days, you know. There wasn't much more I had to know about them. So it was more like listening to them, seeing where they come from, you know. Sarah was happy that I had got rid of Tony. You know, that was her downfall the first season, and with Tony not there, because they had developed a relationship after that season. You know, they had become good friends, which is what happens a lot of times. Regardless of who does you dirty, you still tend to become friends, or, you know, when you see each other, you know, you're okay and you're fine with, you know, what's going on with the relationship. But, you know, she adores Tony, loved Tony, but was glad that Tony was gone and she didn't have to do it. So, you know, in a way, she was happy that I got rid of Tony, or that we, because I'm just one person, that our tribe had gotten rid of Tony. And, you know, so we were just talking about a lot of things. You know, she had been in the military, I had been in the military. So, you know, I was trying to talk to everyone with the exception of Ty. I really didn't sit down too much and, you know, socialize with him.
Speaking of Tony, I interviewed him after he got kicked off, and you're not going to believe this. He said even though you were, you know, responsible for him going home, he still was rooting for you to win the $1 million. So how do you do this, Sandra? How do you vote people out and then have them want you to win the $1 million? Because a lot of people can learn from you, I think.
Well, the difference with the whole Tony situation was that I was never gunning for Tony until Tony came after me. So Tony knows that he was the one that initiated this war between me and him. I mean, contrary to what you see, until we lost that challenge, I had never said Tony's name. And when I said it, it was just after finding out that he had told both Varner and Troyzan that he wanted me out because I was worthless. That's when it all, you know, it just went sideways, you know. And here I am thinking, well, damn, 2 times I say on TV, I thought I was in an alliance with Tony in that episode, you know, but
yeah.
Tony came after me first, so then I went after him. And Tony told me, like, Sandra, even if you and Troyzan would have told me the truth about what you were talking about that night, me being a cop, I wouldn't have believed you. So, you know, Tony has to learn from Tony, you know, about to have just a little bit of faith in people that you want to align yourself with. Not everyone is trying to screw you from day one, minute one, you know. It's not like that. So I'm glad he was rooting for me. I'm sure Tony will play again, and he'll do a good job, and he'll learn from this season about going too quick, too fast, you know. So.
Well, we have a great fan question from one of our writers, John Bonetti. He wants to know, of the other winners, I think there's, not counting you, I think 31 winners out there besides you, which one is most likely to become the next 2-time champ?
Oh, my God, I have to pick one among so many great players.
Or you could just say nobody. You could say you're going to hold that crown for the rest of your life.
No, oh, my God, 2... Oh my God, it's hard because the only ones I would even consider are winners that won their initial season, like that really won the first time around, not coming back a second time or a third or a fourth time, like real solid first time winners that did what they had to do in order to win. So that knocks off like 6, 7 people off the bat. But who would be? I'm kind of ready to see a king on Survivor, like a guy, maybe like a Tom or a Hatch, or even who's a boss, Earl. Who else is Adam? You know, he just won his season, and he was a good player. Oh my God, there's so many that I feel would be awesome winners a second time around.
And, you know, I'm a huge fan of yours, but not everyone was aboard the Queen Sandra train. How do you personally deal with all of the nasty comments on social media?
Well, on Twitter, I just would block them. Courtney told me I had to put my big girl panties on, and I did. And she was like, but don't block everybody, but I couldn't help it. Like, at first I let it slide, and then when the whole goat thing surfaced, then it was like, oh, how could you? And I'm like, these people don't get it. Like, when you're out there and you're hungry, although we didn't eat that mama and that baby, you know, but when you're hungry, yeah, we had food, we still had chickens, and we only even talked about the goats once they were caught. And I didn't say, go get me a goat or else, you know, like, it wasn't even like that. So, but yeah, I have some haters, but everyone, you know, like I always say, everyone doesn't love strawberries, and everyone doesn't eat pork, and you know, there's so many different people out there. They just don't get it, you know.
Mhm. Well, final question, Sandra. This is from Mindy in Winlock. Do you still consider yourself the queen?
I am the queen, and although I did get voted off, which I totally expected it to happen eventually, my game was still successful. And I keep saying the only thing that screwed me was grabbing that one buff. Look, I had everyone on that new tribe shook. The only ones that were not scared of me were the damn chickens, you know? So, I mean, if that doesn't make me the queen, and, you know, like, I had a big target, and I could have easily been amongst the first to go home, and I wasn't. So, I mean, my game speaks for itself. I really don't have to argue about why I'm the queen.
Well, I think you're the best player in Survivor history, so I will just leave it at
Marcus.
that. It was great
and you
to
know
talk
my
to you.
husband's name is Marcus, right?
Oh, well, that's great. And you know what? I'm from Washington State too, and I think that's where you're from, right?
No, we were stationed there when I did the Pearl Islands, but Sierra Easton, her husband's name is Marcus too.
Wow. What a name. What's such a great name, isn't it?
I love it. It's a strong name. It's a man's name.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you so much, Sandra. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.